Hey, just make sure you want to try and not lift those heels as much, all right? Bro, I said don't lift your heels so much. Try to keep your heels down. Don't worry, we'll fix it now. Not gonna lift your heels now, are ya? We are back with another rowing instruction video. This is part 4 of our 5-part series. I do have to apologize if you go back on our video feed. I think I uploaded part 3 possibly before the whole pandemic thing. It's been a long time since we uploaded part 4, and I've recently had a couple of people comment on part 3 and ask us, where is part 4? And I apologize. All of the gym shutdowns and everything else that happened during the past 4 years, part 4 on the rowing series definitely just got lost in the wind. Part 4 on this series is all about heel lift, and I will show you exactly what we are talking about. Heel lift happens when we try to reach as far as we can in the recovery stroke, in the downstroke, and you might have anatomically, you might have long femurs, you might have short arms, you might just be very short in general. You might have mobility issues in the ankles, the hamstrings, and the hips, and a little bit of mobility issues maybe in the back. When this happens, and generally we see this on not only people with mobility or anatomy issues, we see this with people who are very new to rowing. If I were to just take a new rower, a new athlete, a new client, and just throw them on a rower with zero instruction, you will often see heel lift. So they are trying to get as deep as they can into the recovery stroke position, and their heels are coming up super far. Now, thankfully, Concept 2 actually thought of so many things when they designed this wonderful machine. That's why there is a ramp on this footboard. It's so that your feet don't push forward. So when you're pushing on that leg drive, your feet don't start pushing forward. But this also enables you to push through the ball of your foot. The problem is when you feel that sensory perception, when you feel that through the bottom of your foot, if you feel through the ball of your foot, you're gonna think that that's where you should be pushing from. You would almost think that Concept 2 put that ramp in there specifically for you to push off of the balls of your feet. But I'm gonna show you a couple of reasons why heel lift is actually going to cost you a little bit of strength. Not just a little bit of strength, a lot of strength. So let me show you what happens here. If I go on my pull, one of the goals always is to get a faster time, right? To get our 500 pace down, to get a faster time. One of our other goals is to lower our stroke rate. You'll notice too on beginner people, on beginner clients, beginner athletes, that their stroke rate is very high. They have a very high stroke rate, but they are not really moving. You'll see them going back and forth, but they're at like a 250 pace. All that you need to do is slow that stroke rate down and drive harder through the legs. Slow the stroke rate down, drive harder through the legs. We also need to maximize the distance on the bar, on the handle. So 2 issues here. If I try to maximize my recovery stroke, my catch position here, you're gonna see that people with long femurs, short arms, short people in general, they're either gonna reach really far with the back, right? Or you're gonna heel lift. So they're gonna heel lift in order to get deeper into that recovery stroke catch position. Now I'm gonna show you why this is an issue and why you're losing out on so much power. And all we have to do, show you a few things off of the rower, squatting, and a machine in the gym that so many of us have used, the leg press machine. When I show you the leg press, you will understand why heel lift is costing you energy and strength. Let's go check this out. So here we are squatting, and you will see, right? When we teach people how to squat, you would never in a million years teach somebody to squat on the balls of their feet. We are gonna teach people to go through the midfoot more towards the heel. So as we squat and we leg drive up off the floor, we are gonna have those feet flat. We're not gonna lift the feet, right? You would never teach somebody to squat on the balls of your feet. You are shaky, you have no stability, and you are gonna lose almost all of your strength in leg drive. This is extremely similar to the leg press. Let's check this out. All right, here we are on the leg press machine, and here you are gonna see why you need to get your heels down as much as possible. Now, clearly, I'm in a slightly different position than I would be on the rower. The rower, we're in a much more straight line position, whereas here, the seat is below my foot position. This more so mimics a squat position, a true squat position, as opposed to the rower, where the seat is higher or about level with the foot ramp. Now, you will see when I push through here, I'm using that leg drive. This is the leg drive that we are trying to replicate on the rower. And then we're going through the pull. So you would never put someone on this machine and tell them to push through the balls of their feet, through the toes. This would never happen. Now, a lot of times on the rower, what you'll see is people will have a little bit of heel lift at the very bottom, and then as they go through the catch position and they start the leg drive, you might start with your heels just a little lifted, right? Just a little lift. And then as you start to drive through that leg drive, your heels immediately come down. And I'll show you back on the rower exactly what I'm talking about. But this is the reason why you want the heels down as much as possible to drive through the legs as much as possible. If you are on your toes, you are missing out on a massive amount of leg drive. All right, as you can see here, as we go into the catch position, in the recovery stroke, into the catch position, this is where you're gonna see the heels come up off of the ramp, right? So take this back to the leg press, and you would never teach somebody to leg press in this position with the heels off. And this is why you're missing out on all of this power. If you can keep the heels down, you have more leg drive. You might sacrifice a small amount of distance, but that sacrifice of distance you will make up for with more leg drive. Now, I can get the bar, the handle, all the way to the bottom, right, if I lift the heels. But that is going to cost me, right, this much more. You're only gaining 1 inch of distance, but you're losing out on probably 10 to 20% of your leg drive by having your heels off. So now you can see by the leg press, by the squat position, why you would never, in those situations, you would never lift the heels. You would never push through the toes. Rowing is no different in that sense. It is leg drive, and to use all of your leg drive, you need to have all of your foot on the board. That's it. It's very simple. Try as hard as you can. Keep the heels down.